Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all good today. Now, I'm so happy to have Liz on my channel again. I did go on her channel and honestly it was so amazing. We can literally both talk for hours about Arsenal, so it's really
Honestly.
good. Yeah, it's really good to have you on here. We'll be chatting a bit about the men's team because obviously we both love watching them both and you know what we have to talk about it. But first of all, thank you so much for coming on my channel today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again. And obviously, big up for the 4K subscribers. We were just talking about how when you obviously came on mine, I was like, oh, hopefully we can get to 4K for you. And somehow, literally in like a couple of days, it happened. So I'm very happy for you. And yeah, I'm pretty good today. I feel like as a Gooner right now, there's not too much to complain about on either side. So it's going well.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, if it just feels so good right now, doesn't it, to be an Arsenal fan? I wanted to start off talk about the women's team because obviously, you know, we won against Leicester, which I'll go into in a minute. But I want to just get your thoughts on the season because we started off really good. We started off strong, which we hadn't usually done under Jonas, and we struggled with that.
Mhm.
And you know, we started off well, and then we drew with United, and then we obviously we sort of I feel like from there we sort of struggled. We obviously lost to Man City, and we had a few bad results. What have you made of our season? Because obviously we have got a really big game against Chelsea coming up, and that feels now like a must win if we really want to be in the title race.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to go into that Chelsea game thinking we have to win this because we know, I mean, if you look back historically, it's always been the toughest game. And in my opinion, it is the biggest game of the WSL because that is the biggest derby. They are the biggest clubs. So I feel like going into that, obviously, we don't want to feel too like nervous about it or have too much pressure on our shoulders. But I mean, I'm sure we'll get into that game as a whole in a bit more in a bit. But I think if we look back at our season as a whole, it's it's kind of a bit of a confusing one because I think everyone has been on such a high from winning the Champions League last season that we were like, oh my God, we're going to go and win everything this season. We're going to get that quadruple. We're going to win the league. We're going to win everything. But I think realistically, when you look at what Slagers did, she came in and it was almost like an emergency, like, right, we're going to put these players, this is our team, this is what's going to happen. And it brought so much success, but that's not sustainable. That was always over two legs. Whereas this season, yes, you technically in the league, you have like a home fixture and away fixture, but it's not back to back. So it's not like you can learn from the first game and then just improvise in the second game, which I feel like we did a lot of that last season. She was a very good interim manager to come in and do that. But I think when you look at this season, we've sort of just panicked because as fans, we're shocked at why is this not working when we had such high expectations. And then we're drawing games, we were losing games that we just shouldn't be losing. Like even that City game, we were celebrating. Chloe Kelly was kissing the badge, celebrating loads, and then suddenly ended up actually conceding another goal and losing 3-2. I just think as a whole, we overachieved last season, that we're probably actually where we're meant to be this season. And I'm liking the momentum we're building in the last few games. It's giving me more hope and confidence going into that Chelsea fixture. But yeah, I do feel like it's been a bit of a wishy-washy season, a bit up and down so far.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because like when Renee, you know, replaced Jonas, I never really thought we'd win a Champions League. I didn't expect really us to do an awful lot. I thought maybe we might win, you know, maybe go for an FA Cup or you know,
Mm-hmm.
the Conti Cup. I never really thought we'd go that far in the Champions League, and I do definitely agree. I think you know we did overachieve, and that's amazing that we did that. But it's tough going into the season, isn't it? Because with the league, it is completely different, you know, to Champions League. I think with the league, it's you know, I know it's a little bit shorter than the Premier League, but it's still kind of a long process with the league. You do have to be quite consistent all the time, and that's quite difficult for this team to do. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I think it would be nice to see another team win the league other than Chelsea. I think it would be good to see another team. If we can't do it, I would generally want another team to do it. But yeah, I think with the league, I mean, obviously I'm not too sure points wise, but I think I wouldn't say it's over yet. It is so difficult as you know if we lose to Chelsea, we're going to be in a tough position. But with the league, do you still feel like we've got a chance? Because we beat Leicester, I think now maybe could be a good chance for us to go on a good run and get some confidence now.
I would absolutely love to say, yeah, we're going to win the league. But sadly, I feel like that is me thinking with my heart. Whereas if I'm thinking realistically with my head,
Yeah,
we've got to aim for that top 3 spot. We've got to make sure that obviously Champions League is still early on, and with the new structure of the league, we like the league format with the Champions League. That was quite a mouthful. I feel like it is still kind of complicated. And we're not sure how we're going to do in that because we didn't get off to the best start there. So I think we can't necessarily rely on winning the Champions League again to secure us that spot. And it would be really weird if, obviously, the position we're in right now, if we don't end up getting Champions League football, because I don't really think that's ever happened for Arsenal. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I
that's
can't
what
really
man
think of,
either.
I can't think of, anyways, like growing up, I can't think of a personal time where Arsenal haven't been competing in that Champions League. So I think for us, as much as obviously winning the league would be amazing, and it is still really early on, we've not even got to win all our games. We've got to hope that Chelsea, United, City, even Spurs are doing well. We've got to make sure that all of those teams drop points, and that's quite a big ask. So in my opinion, I think we've just got to make sure we aim for that top 3 spot no matter
Yeah.
what, because I think the most humbling thing is we come away potentially with no silverware from the league, and then we even miss out on the Champions League spot. So I'd love to get, like you were saying, I'd love to get a cup, like a FA Cup or the League Cup, something like that, just to have it under our belt. Champions League, that's obviously not written off yet, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to rely on it too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird the Champions League because, like, I just don't know how we would sort of win it again this season. I think a lot of other teams definitely have improved. Chelsea, that's a trophy Chelsea haven't won, and they really want to win. And with the league, it's difficult, isn't it, as well? Because Man United don't seem to look like they're going to drop points either.
Mm-hmm.
Man City, I think what we have to do is really just try to get that Champions League spot. But I definitely think beat Chelsea, that would be a statement win. That I'm not really expecting
100%.
to beat Chelsea. I probably think we'll get something out of the game, but it's so tough, isn't it? Especially like it's so early on in the WSL, but this is just how it goes because there's not as many teams obviously in WSL. You can't
Mm.
afford to lose too much. But obviously we did beat Leicester yesterday, 3-0. I wasn't really expecting us to score that many goals. I thought we'd win, but it was a very good performance. Sorry, we beat them 4-1. What did you make of the performance yesterday? We did see quite a few changes in the team as well, which obviously some of them were illnesses, which obviously you can't really do much about that. But
Mm-hmm.
what did you make of it overall?
Yeah, I think the game yesterday, if I'm being honest, I didn't actually get to watch the whole game. Right,
Yeah,
it was mostly going off highlights and just different team formations. But from what I did see of the game, I think it was more encouraging. I think I'm always like Russo's biggest fan. I've always said how she works so hard off the ball, and that's something that gets overlooked because
yeah,
if you're not scoring, then people kind of are thinking, like, doubting you, I guess, a
yeah,
little bit. So for her to get that goal, it was really good, and obviously it was such a perfect finish. I think it was just nice to see, like, dare I say it, I feel like Arsenal was sort of back with this game. Like, I don't know if that's a bit of a big statement, but I've literally just filmed my pod this morning, and it sort of got me thinking, okay, we're actually seeing link ups. Like, Beth Mead's assist was so perfect into Blackstenius that I'm like, okay, we're back. Obviously, Russo's now getting on the score sheet, and I think it's just so good to see rotations. I love Chloe Kelly getting more game time. I think we had such, like, even going back to obviously your first question, like, what do you think of the season as a whole? We came into the season thinking, okay, we've got all these big summer transfer like signings. We had Olivia Smith, obviously a record-breaking fee, and then we've got obviously Chloe Kelly, who came, she was on loan obviously for the Champions League, and she came in and stayed. And I think we've just created such a big attacking line. Obviously Olivia Smith is out with injury right now, but I think it's just so interesting to see how there's so many possibilities for Slagers, and to get a game like this, a result like this is so encouraging because I think we only saw those high scoring games at the beginning of the season. So to now bring it back to that, which is what we deserve, like, in my opinion, this is a side that are the Champions League champions. Like, that is a side that knows their worth, if that makes sense. So I'm very
yeah,
happy with that. The only negative I feel like from the game really is that we shouldn't be conceding. Like, I
mm,
think when it gets to that point where you're so many goals ahead of them, you shouldn't really be letting in any goals because I just feel like it's okay for this game. We got the 3 points, we got the win. Like, I'm not going to be too negative about it. But we can't be doing that. I know we keep mentioning Chelsea, but we can't be doing that against Chelsea because obviously if we concede, they're going to keep capitalizing on it. And we've seen them do that against us before. So I think, yeah, for this game, as a whole, I feel like it was more of a positive game than we've seen recently,
Yeah.
building on that momentum of the last 2 wins. But I feel like we still need to do more. But it's, you know what, it's early days. Players are starting to get injured. I know that's not an excuse because a lot happens to a lot of teams. But I feel like, yeah, we're getting back in a decent place. Hopefully, anyways.
Yeah, like you said, it's not really what you want to see us conceding.
Mhm.
It's tough because like when we did concede, I kind of saw it coming. I think we probably took our foot off the gas a little bit. I think as well when I saw like such a rotated squad, I was a bit cautious. Can we do it? Because I think we've had a few issues, obviously, sometimes in midfield this season. I know, and as you'll know as well, we are missing Leah Williamson quite a lot. So I think it, like you said, I think it was just about getting the job done. I think we needed to see a convincing win, especially going into that Chelsea game. How would you feel about playing Chelsea? Because I just feel like they're never gonna lose. I feel like I'm like nervous. I feel like because, like I said, if we beat Chelsea, which I'm not sure I see happening, I'd be very surprised. I would definitely feel like there's hope now for us to be back in the title race. Because we need to really see Chelsea drop points and other teams as well drop points for us to be up there in the title race.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. I feel like the minute you said Chelsea, I was like, because I just feel like it is the biggest game in the WSL
Yeah,
because not only that rivalry, I feel like it's now spread into the fans as well. And obviously, Arsenal we're known for having the biggest fan base in the WSL, but I feel like the Chelsea fans, the core Chelsea women fans, they're really, really tribal, and it's really good to see that banter that we have between the two sides. So off the pitch, I'm excited about that and like the social aspects. But focusing on the actual football, I feel like we can beat Chelsea. Like I do feel like we've got the right mindset right now. If we didn't win the last 3 games and if we carried on this poor form, I might be like, oh, okay, yeah, we just need to go in and even a draw would be amazing. But now because we've got these 3 wins behind us and something's sort of shifted with Slagers, we've gone into a new block. It feels like a new part of the season. And I do feel like we can really capitalize on this. I actually think I'm a bit delusional because I've just filmed my podcast. It's not going out yet, so I'm debating whether I want to keep it in. But I did predict it to be a 2-1 win to Arsenal. But I did say I feel like it could be a 2-1 to either side.
yeah,
But I kind of swayed more to the Arsenal side because I think the fans can really carry it over that final line. We know
yeah,
that last season, I think to be fair, I went to both games last season. And the first one was the home leg. I can't remember the exact score. I think that was like a 2-1 or a 3-1 or something like that. I'm really bad with scores off the top of my head, but I do remember that then the first half, Chelsea came out. It was Myra Ramirez scored in like the first like 10, 15 minutes. And then suddenly we woke up. Whereas
yeah,
we need to go straight out in this game. We can't suddenly just be like, you guys score and then we'll wake up because it meant that we ended up losing. I genuinely think it was like a 2-1 or something.
yeah,
Whereas we ended up winning that second half or drawing that second half, which in my opinion, that game should have been a draw if we woke up sooner. And then if you look at the other game, where it was the away leg last year, and that was I just remember being up in the gods. Somehow I ended up being in the Chelsea end, which was not a good look. And we ended up obviously losing that. There was like that penalty, which wasn't a penalty, and then everyone was like, "What?" It was that. There was just so much controversy, and that's why I'm saying this game it brings so much more because everyone gets so rattled about it, which is really good. Like it adds a lot of passion to the game. But
yeah,
I just think if it's anything like last season, we were obviously that first game it was with Jonas. The second game, Slagers had just joined us basically a month before. And I think if we were able to nearly get draws against them in that game, we definitely should be getting a draw. But I do think we could get that final goal. I mean, it is just tricky because, I mean, if you think so, for like the combined 11 that for this game, I was talking about it with a friend and I was like, oh, I've actually probably got about 5, 6 Chelsea players in my combined 11. Like, obviously, the likes of Kim Little, like those players, obviously, you've got to keep the Arsenal lot. But it is such a tricky one because these teams do have the best starting 11s and the best players, in my opinion, in the league. So it is kind of like it is a tricky one-on-one duel. It's just whether
yeah.
every player puts in a shift and basically wins their one-on-ones, I guess.
Yeah, it's so tough, isn't it? I'm happy this game wasn't the first game after the break, but
That'd be
I
so bad.
think, yeah, I'm happy we've got a win going into the game. But I'm with you. I could see it going either way. I think it's always a very sort of chaotic, competitive
Mhm.
game. I I think the team will definitely be up for it. I do hope some of our players that have been a bit ill, like Cooney Cross, Man, I think we need them for this game as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think we'll definitely be up for it, especially, the amount of tickets that have been sold and the support. I think it's amazing.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm really excited for that. Obviously, you touched on the men's team. I mean,
Wait, sorry, can I push you that? Are you gonna commit to a score prediction? Because I feel like I don't want to be the only one that's committed to a 2-1. It's a tough
this
one.
Yeah, this sounds a bit crazy, but I think 3-2 Arsenal.
Ooh,
I
I
think
like
it's
that.
I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think it
Mhm,
always is. Like, I kind of think your form can kind of go out the window a bit. Like, I think we have to just see this game as maybe like a cup final, because I think if we beat Chelsea, I definitely think it's back on. So yeah, 3-2. I mean, our heart
yeah,
rate is gonna be through the roof,
I'd
but
love honestly,
yeah,
I'd love to see that many goals, and I think how you worded it, a cup final, that's
yeah,
how I feel like we see it anyways. Like, I feel like
yeah.
this is seen as such like a we're in the Champions League final right now, we're so nervous. So hopefully one of our predictions comes right, basically.
I
That's when
hope
we
it's
have a little
win.
bit more
Yeah.
confidence.
I don't think it matters how we win. I think it's just those
Yeah,
3 points, they're gonna be massive. I don't
exactly.
think we'll lose this game. I think a draw possibly. I think we can't really afford to lose this either, because then
Mhm.
we're falling more behind. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I hope we win. I mean, we both predicted a win. But yeah,
Hopefully.
it's gonna be a tight game. It's not. I wish it would be an easy 3 points, but I'm
Yeah,
excited as well. I hope some of the players will be back as well from the injury as well. I mean, the men's team as well. I mean, I don't know what to say. We're doing so good. Like, it feels
insane.
to me like it's too good to be true. Like, I mean, it's so good. Obviously as well, we can't stop winning. We're doing so well.
Mhm.
What have you kind of made of the season? Because obviously we started off good, but Liverpool were at the top to start off with, and then they sort of dropped off. And we've taken over that a little bit, and they've obviously though Man City have won this weekend. So I feel like they're sort of sneaking up a little bit behind us now.
Mhm.
But what have you made of Arsenal so far this season?
I think it's just so good what Arsenal are doing in terms of they're just trusting themselves. Like, I think Arsenal have very much focused on them as much as, like you said, Liverpool. They were getting last minute winners every week,
Yeah,
and it's sort of the conversations that were going around was, is this sustainable? Is this not? Obviously, it's turned out it's not sustainable. And quick link to the women's game, I feel like Chelsea have sort of been a similar way to Liverpool, where it hasn't been the most glamorous football. So I'm hoping that at some point they've got to slip up. So I'm really
yeah,
hoping that happens. But back to obviously the men with Liverpool, they obviously stopped winning. In the last like what 4 or 5 games, like they sort of dipped off a bit. I know they just won at the weekend, but it's sort of just interesting to see with that. So I think we just need to now focus on us. It's quite nice to be the ones in control in a way where we don't have to think, okay, if we win and they lose, then we win. It's almost like we just need to win, and we're 7 points clear at the top. We just
yeah,
need to keep doing our thing. I think, yeah, in terms of the season, like I don't think anyone at the beginning could have predicted that we'd literally have the perfect October month. I mean, what was it? Six games, 6 wins, no defeats, 12 goals, no goals conceded, clean
yeah,
sheets, like all these stats I feel like are going around my head because I just keep seeing it on Instagram. I scroll and every day it was like a new stat. And even now we've gone into November and we've already extended that win streak. It's just so good to see. Um, so I think for me, I don't really feel like there's too much to say about the season as a whole. I do feel like the only gap maybe is with the out and out striker, like with Gyökeres.
yeah,
But even that, I think he's really finding his feet. I'm really impressed with the progress he's making. I feel like he's on track because we just saw him at the weekend score his
yeah,
first away goal for Arsenal. And I think, yes, he hasn't come out and scored hat tricks every week, but that's quite impossible for like any striker. Like you've got to be pretty elite to do that. And I still think he's found his feet. He's still helping out. What he's doing off the ball, like holding up play, things like that. I think he's really slotting in well. So as a whole, yeah. In terms of my thoughts of the season, I feel like we can't really complain too much.
yeah. It's so crazy because I didn't think we'd be this far up at the table. Like, I mean, like you said, 7 points as well. it's really good. We're in a really good place. It's kind of hard because I take it a game at a time. I mean, it's so exciting right now, but I think for me personally, it's definitely too early to say, we can win the league. I think as well, we've got players that are going to come back, Madueke, Havertz. You mentioned Gyökeres as well. I mean, I feel like every game he's sort of developing, getting better. He got a goal against Burnley. We beat Burnley as well. I mean, going to that game, you never know how Arsenal are going to do sometimes. I mean, sometimes we do play quite beautiful football. Sometimes that we're sort of getting results and we don't always play the best. But what did you kind of make of our performance and us getting that win at the weekend?
I think it's just so important. I think for me, the thing that stands out the most is the clean sheet. That's become
Yeah,
our 7th clean sheet in a row. And it's really weird because I usually am not really one for stats. Like, I usually, like,
yeah,
whatever, doesn't matter if this player's touched the ball this many times. But I think these stats are really encouraging. I think even if you look at the last week, like the rotation of the players we've had at the back is really encouraging as well, because it hasn't always been that Gabriel Saliba centre back duo that we're so used to, which obviously is like the best defensive duo in the league. But also we're seeing like Nkapia getting there. A few weeks back we saw like Mosquera, and it's just so good to see that we can keep those clean sheets. But I think in terms of this game, it's sort of like everything you wanted from it. Like the score sheet, obviously the scoreline was really good, keeping that clean sheet, getting the 3 points. One player I really, really want to highlight is Declan Rice, because I
yeah,
think for me, he can't really have a bad game. Like, I feel like even when he has a bad game, in terms of like what we think's bad for him, because our expectations are so high,
yeah,
it's still probably like a 7 out of 10, if that makes sense. Like, it's still not a bad game for a player in the Premier League. I think he's so consistent. Whether we put him in that number 6, number 8 position, he's just so consistent. And I think even when you look at it, we've got so many players out injured, but you don't really notice because we've got that squad depth. And I just feel like Arteta's got so many players to focus on, and almost, I think as a manager, it's probably quite tricky to have to player manage, to actually be like making everyone happy with their game time and things like that. And in the past, like, you hear a
yeah.
lot with players that they're not completely happy or things like that. And I think he's doing really well because he's got a lot of players to have to manage between, but it seems to be working in his favour. And I think especially when we're progressing so well in all these competitions, we know that all those players will have game time. I mean, even look at Max Dowman. I feel like he's stealing all the headlines with everything he's doing at such a
Yeah.
young age. So it's just really encouraging to see.
Yeah, it's so good. It's like you said, a great point as well about managing those minutes. That they're quite important because it's like we have got kind of a bigger squad now. I mean, we probably know our starting 11 that will start, and then you've got players maybe like Marino, Waneri, Max Dannon, so many other players that sort of come on off the bench, and it's like you want to give them the right amount of minutes. You don't want them to be unhappy as well. And then obviously, as I said before, you've got players like Havertz that's going to come back, Madueke, which is pretty soon, which makes it sound even crazy that we're doing so well. We're adding these players back in. With Havertz, like obviously Gyökeres, I feel like is improving. He's been getting more goals recently. When Havertz comes back, do you think Arteta will still play Gyökeres and maybe gradually bring Havertz in? Because I do still feel like Gyökeres should be a starter,
Mhm.
and maybe Havertz comes on a little bit to help us in the game when we need him, because Havertz still has a really big role to play in this team, and I know he'll want to keep helping Arsenal and keep improving. He obviously did have a setback of his injury, but we still know that he can really get us the goals. He's quite a different player to Gyökeres as well, which is kind of a good thing because they both can bring different things to the team.
I think it's really tricky. I don't think I actually have a definite answer on this
Yeah,
one, because I mean, it's quite a nice position to be in, to be fair,
yeah,
having multiple options. I think there was a moment, I don't know if it was last week or the week before that, but I sort of was thinking we do need Havertz back. Like, we do need, Gyökeres is doing really well, but I feel like Havertz is just so good at pressing that high line. Like, he's so good at starting that high press that almost everyone else follows. And you see so many times with teams now, they always want to play out the back, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, you need a player like Havertz who's there if there's a weak ball that's gone from the keeper to the centre back or something to press
yeah,
on as a whole. So I feel like having that energy would be really good from Havertz. But like you said, Gyökeres has slotted in. He is a good starting striker for us. I think he's definitely finding his feet. I feel like even obviously we had Marino last season as well. We've actually got quite a few options. Obviously Marino normally now plays more in that centre mid role. But I just feel like it's nice having the options. I think Gyökeres, he's on track and he's doing
Yeah.
well. He's doing what he's meant to be doing. He's getting those goals when he's meant to be getting them. Yes, we want to see more from him. And maybe, if anything, you see it a lot in teams. It's really good when they've got competition because then they have to be better. So maybe
Yeah.
having the pressure that Havertz is slowly coming back into the squad, that'll be good to just add that pressure to be like, okay, I actually need to score or I'm going to get subbed. But I think obviously Havertz, he's very injury prone. He's very good when he's fully fit for us, and we saw that last season. So I do feel like he'd be good to slot back in, but whether it's he comes on to start off with maybe in the last 30 minutes or something like that, we'll have to sort of see.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good position to be in, and it's annoying because I can't give you a definite answer on this because I just don't really know. I feel like we're trying to adjust to Gyökeres, and we almost, for his sake as well, don't want to push him to one side and be like, right, Havertz is back now. You were just filling in because we know as Arsenal fans we were looking for that out and out striker,
Yeah.
and not everyone was happy with Havertz as much as I think when we look back now we were like he was actually really good for us and what he did. I think we were very adamant of we needed this Gyökeres type player, and I think we just give him a bit more of a chance. But having both of them at some point to rotate between different competitions isn't a bad move for Arteta,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah, I do agree. I think Havertz is, a big player for us. I think he will definitely help us. I think because there'll be games where we might struggle to score, and you've got players off the bench that you kind of need to rely on to help us in those moments. I definitely feel as though Havertz is great, but like you said, I feel like we've needed like another out and out striker. I think what we've had in the past, striker wise, in the attack just hasn't been enough for us to get over the line. So I think it's good, like you said, like it's a good headache to have having these options. And obviously you've got players, as I said, Waneri. Obviously you got, Martinelli when he's back as well. So yeah, it does definitely feel like a really good time. Obviously the international break is coming up pretty soon. Obviously we've got the Champions League on Tuesday. We've obviously got Sunderland. Obviously Sunderland as well. They've been doing really good. It's actually weird. It'll be weird playing against Xhaka because he's had a really good time at Sunderland. But do you feel like confident we can like go in the international break? Obviously with a win, obviously against Sunderland, because I do kind of wonder if we drop points or if we lost, how would the team kind of react to it after the break? Because I kind of don't want the break to happen. I'm really enjoying watching us at the moment. We're playing really good. We're getting results, but again, Sunderland will be another tough test for us.
No, definitely. And to be fair, I think it's not even will the players react badly if we ended up conceding or even drawing or losing a game. I think it's almost the fan base and
Yeah,
not even our fan base. I feel like it's other fans that are always first to hop on and be like, oh, well, you're not winning anymore sort of vibe.
yeah,
Or even for us to be like, oh, don't like this club anymore. But I think this is obviously where you separate the loyal fans to the fans that just want us to win every week, which is so unrealistic in football, which is kind of why I'm a bit like what you said at the very, very start of this conversation. It's a bit like, oh, like, is it too good to be true? Is it not?
yeah,
Right now, because we do seem to be getting those perfect results, keeping those clean sheets. I think in terms of Sunderland, like it was really interesting because they're 7th in the league right now, but for a while they were in the top 4 for the last few
yeah,
weeks. And that's one thing I actually love. Like, this is a bit random, off topic, but one thing I actually love about the Premier League this season is the 3 teams that have been promoted aren't necessarily getting relegated. I think if you look at the league table, like it's really interesting to see how those 3 teams are actually just spread about in the league. Even you
yeah,
look at Bournemouth, and everyone wrote them off at the start of the season, thinking all their best players had basically been taken to other clubs, yet they're still in the top 4 now, and it's just really really interesting to see how everything, the whole dynamic has changed. So I think, going back to Sunderland, we can't fully write them off. Obviously, like you said, Shaka's there,
yeah,
which will be a really interesting dynamic. Him obviously coming back to us. Well, obviously we're travelling up there, so playing against our club, his former club, it will be very, very interesting to see how that one goes. But I do think we've got to keep that clean sheet, and I do think that yes, they're doing well, but we're doing better. Like, not to sound like too confident, too arrogant or
yeah,
whatever, but I feel like it's got to be like a 2-0 win again. That's sort of the theme that we're going with recently.
Yeah.
Against Brighton, it was 2-0. Burnley, it was 2-0. I feel like it's probably got to be a 2-0. I think obviously because we've got, what do we have? The Champions League game tomorrow night. So that's
Yeah.
obviously going to maybe have the players, like the more of our starting 11. And then, I mean, we've basically got 2 starting 11s at this point, but it feels like
Yeah.
we maybe play the players that might need a bit of a rest after that Champions League game. So I feel like, yeah, there'll be a bit of rotation, but I think we definitely could get that 2-0 win going into that international break.
Yeah, it'd be weird as well, like, we're playing against Xhaka. I do wonder if he'll get any sort of a good reception from Arsenal fans, because I think it is nice now that there isn't any sort of bad blood between, us and Xhaka. It ended quite nicely, so, the love is still there. So I do wonder if, he'll get any good reception. Don't think he'll be booed. I don't expect that really, but yeah, I think with Sunderland, it really should be another kind of win for us. Like you said, I think our scores are quite predictable. It's like 1-0, 2-0. I think we'll win. I mean, again, like I'm with you with stats, like I'm not usually big on them. I don't usually focus on them, but I'm enjoying actually these clean sheets and how good we are doing defensively. It's like when you're watching us at the moment, I just don't see anyone score past us. Like, we're doing so well. So obviously it would be really good to keep that up going into international break. And yeah, like we both said, it's been honestly like such a good start to the season. I'd be interested to see where we are maybe near Christmas time, just to see if we are still keeping it up, because I think if we are, I still probably think we'll maintain that and keep building. So really hope we can have another successful week, guys. Obviously October has been amazing. I hope this month will be even better. Obviously, Lucy, it's been so much fun having you on. I know you also have your own channel, so do you want to just tell people a little bit about your channel, what sort of content you do, and where they can find you?
Yeah, of course. Well, I feel like that's literally time has flown by, as it
Yeah.
always does, yapping about Arsenal, and it's been a good time to talk about them. So thanks
Yeah,
for having me
definitely.
on.
Oh, you're welcome.
So yeah, my channel is the Arsenal Humans podcast. It's actually coming up to 1 year since I started doing it. So like this week, I think it's 1 year. So
Oh,
yeah, it's been quite a good journey already. Like I'm kind of impressed with the interactions I've had and the feedback. So I'm quite happy with how it's gone. I basically just put sort of like with you, I feel like obviously you do more like match reviews and a lot more
yeah,
videos each week. I just stick to sort of one video where I look ahead to games, look back at games with just me, and then I do every other week, every other Friday, I have like an Arsenal fan come on. So it's very Arsenal fan
yeah, I love
right
that.
now. Maybe in the future I might get on other fans, but for the moment it's basically if you support Arsenal and you want to watch, that's cool. If you hate Arsenal and you want to watch, I feel like that's quite a common audience as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, is that sort of the vibe. But yeah, feel free to follow if you want to. Obviously, you don't need to, but that's where it is, anyways.
Yeah, obviously, to those that will be watching this back, please make sure you check it out. I will obviously leave your down in the description and your YouTube channel, so obviously do check that out. Yeah, I hope you guys obviously that will be watching this back have enjoyed me and Lucy chatting away about the men, the women's team. Like you said, it does go in so quick when we chat. So yeah, obviously big up to you for coming on my channel, and yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure you do like, subscribe, obviously do subscribe to Lucy's channel as well, and I will see you all very soon.